happy Friday. It is April the 9th. It is Friday. It's our last Friday before spring break. I know you guys are saying, but Miss Riley, you're wearing the same shirt that you wore yesterday. Yes, I am. Except that it's not yesterday, it's still today, and I cheated. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. The only reason that I'm cheating is because I don't feel like putting on eyeliner every morning, but I also don't want to appear on camera without eyeliner. It is a big conundrum. Anyways, I have different ears though, so I feel like it counts. These have polka dots on them and they're pink. So, yeah, last video before spring break. I hope you guys have a wonderful spring break. Take some time off, breathe, have fun, and I will see you after spring break and we will get back on it. We are on our last 2 chapters of our last official Magic Treehouse book. After this is all Merlin missions all the time. I'm super excited about it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over read our last 2 chapters, then talk about what happened in this book, and then you guys can take the hour test on it. Also, I'm going to ask you to give me the definitions for all of our vocabulary words. So let's get started. Okay, so vocabulary first. I want you to tell me in your own words in the comments below, what is the definition of breakers, chores, fantasy, meadow, porch, surfboard, tsunami. Tell me the definition for all of those words. Okay, so our story. Jack and Annie are on their mission to find their last special kind of magic. So for this last mission, they get sent back in time to Hawaii, which is an island in the middle of the Pacific. And we talked about where Hawaii was when we were talking about continents and oceans, because remember we said that the Pacific Ocean is the biggest ocean, and it's so big that technically, if you look at the Pacific Ocean on the Earth, that's literally the only land that you see is just straight up water, and then right in the middle, boop, is Hawaii. So Hawaii was made up of islands that used to be volcanoes, and over time the volcanoes sent up lava, which cooled off and eventually got to the surface and made land, and then seeds were brought by birds and dropped off by the wind, and then we have the island that we have today. So, excuse me. So Jack and Annie head back in time, and they head out on the island, and it's a beautiful island. Hawaii's beautiful. It's tropical. There's birds. There's flowers. It's great. So they're walking along, and they hear a noise in a village. They go down into the village, and they see people that are performing the hula. Now, the story tells us that the reason that Hawaiians did the hula was it was a method of storytelling. So instead of writing down their stories like we do, they used dance and song to tell their stories. So Jack and Annie go, and they meet 2 kids, Boca and Kama, and of course, Annie jumps right in, does the hula, and Jack's like, not so much. So they go in and they finish up, and Boca and Kama kind of meet them. They start talking, they become friends, and Boca and Kama invite them to spend the night. And they go back to Boca and Kama's house, which is just like a little hut that has a covered roof with straw. And they spend the night with Boca and Kama. When they wake up the next morning, they decide to go down and do some surfing. So first they went and got breakfast, which if you remember their breakfast, it was coconuts and bananas, which they got off trees. And then they head down to the water to go surfing. Now, of course, Annie being Annie is like, woo, surfing, time to go. But Jack, of course, is much more cautious, and he's like, I should read about it first. I don't know. And they're like, no, just do it. So they get these big surfboards, and they head out. And Boca and Kama say, the first time you surf, when you ride the board into shore, you probably shouldn't stand up. Stay laying down, get used to it. But, of course, Annie stands up and is like, woo, got it. And Jack tries to and falls over. And then when he tries to get back up, he kind of gets hit by the waves, and he's falling over, he's getting sand in his mouth, and he gets kind of upset. And Boca and Kama are kind of laughing, and they're like, are you okay? They're not being mean, but it was kind of funny. And so Jack kind of gets upset, and he's like, don't come near me, I'm mad, I don't want to go out and try to surf again. So he stays on the shore to read about it, while Annie and the other 2 go out to surf. Well, while he's on the shore, he feels an earthquake, and when he looks it up, he realizes that this earthquake could lead to a potential tsunami. So he has to go out into the waves to get their attention so he can bring them back in. They are able to get in time and get up on top of the cliff, but the tsunami does hit. So we had left off with them all being safe back with the villagers, and yeah, so that's where we're at. All right, let's get going. We're on chapter 9, which is telling the story, and this is on page 60 if you have the book. Finally, the hugging and crying and laughing died down. The villagers started walking back to their huts. Jack and Annie followed Boca, Kama, and their parents. "We felt the ground shaking," said Boca and Kama's father. "We knew a big wave might follow." "Jack saved us," said Boca. "He read in a book and found out about the big waves." "What's a book?" asked his mother. "Show them," Annie said to Jack. Jack reached into his pack and took out the research book. "It tells a lot about big waves in here," he said. "Books give out information." "Ha," said Boca and Kama's mother. "A book is a good thing." "Books tell stories too," said Annie. "That's impossible," said Kama. "The book can't move its feet or wave its hands. It can't sing or chant." "That's true," said Jack, smiling. "Now we should do the hula," Boca said to Annie, Kama, and Jack, "and tell our story." "I'll watch," said Jack, stepping away. Boca and Kama's father called for music. The villagers gathered around, and a man started to play a pipe. A teenage boy knocked two sticks together. Some women began shaking rattles. Boca, Kama, and Annie waved their hands in time to the music. They stepped from side to side and swayed their hips. Kama chanted about going out into the water. She, Boca, and Annie waved their hands to show how they paddled to the sea. Kama chanted about how Jack warned them. She and the others waved their hands to show how they rode their surfboards to shore. Then Jack surprised himself. He waved his hands to show how he rode his surfboard like a bird soaring through the air. The next thing he knew, he was stepping from side to side. He was swaying his hips. He was doing the hula. Kama chanted about how the water had pulled away from the shore and how they climbed to safety, and how the giant wave had crashed against the cliff. There's Jack doing the hula. As Kama chanted, all the villagers joined in the dance. The tall grasses swayed, the palm trees swayed, and the hula dancers swayed too. When the story ended, everyone clapped. "Thanks for helping us," Boca said to Jack and Annie. "We're a good team," said Annie. "And best friends," said Kama. "Yeah," said Jack. "I'm sorry I said mean things." "We're sorry we laughed at you," said Boca. "And I'm sorry I grabbed at the book," said Annie. "Our mother said friendship is like riding the waves," said Kama. "Sometimes you ride low, gentle waves, sometimes you ride high, rough ones." Annie gasped and looked at Jack. She repeated Morgan's rhyme. "To find a special magic, build a special kind of ship that rides the waves both high and low on every kind of trip." "Friendship! That's the ship," said Jack. "We built it," said Annie. She and Jack burst out laughing. Boca and Kama looked confused, but they laughed too. "We have to get back to our own home now," Annie said to Boca and Kama. "It's time to say goodbye," said Jack. "We never say goodbye," said Kama. "We say aloha when we greet our friends, and we say aloha when we leave them." "Friends are always together," said Boca, "even when they're far apart." "Have a good journey in your magic treehouse," said Kama. "Thanks," said Jack and Annie. They waved to all the villagers. "Aloha! Aloha!" everyone called back. Then Jack and Annie started through the meadow. Tiny yellow birds and orange and black butterflies flitted at them. At the edge of the meadow they came to a grove of palm trees. They climbed up to the rope ladder and into the house. Out at the window, Jack saw the tall mountains, the small village, the flowery meadow, and the ocean. The water was peaceful again. "I still have my lei," said Annie. She took it off. Though the red flowers were wet, they were still a little fluffy. "It's proof that we found the special magic," said Jack, "the magic of friendship." Annie put the lei on the floor next to the play scrolls, the twig, and the corn seeds. Then she picked up the Pennsylvania book. "Ready?" she asked. Jack sighed. "I love Hawaii," he said. "Finally you admit it," said Annie. She pointed at the picture of the Frog Creek woods. "I wish we could go home now." The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 10. Everyday Magic. Jack opened his eyes. The sun was setting beyond the woods. No time at all had passed in Frog Creek. "Welcome back," said a soft, lovely voice. Morgan Le Fay was in the magic treehouse. "Morgan!" cried Annie, and she threw her arms around the enchantress. Jack hugged Morgan too. "Look, Morgan," said Annie. "We have proof. We found 4 special kinds of magic." That was crooked. Sorry. Yeah. "Yes, I see," said Morgan. She picked up the play scrolls that Shakespeare had given Jack and Annie in Old England. "You found the magic of theater," she said. Morgan picked up the twig from the mountain gorilla in the African cloud forest. "And the magic of animals," she said. Morgan then picked up the pouch of corn seeds from their trip to the first Thanksgiving. "And the magic of community," she said. Finally, Morgan picked up the wreath of flowers from Kama and Boca. "And you discovered the magic of friendship," she said. Morgan looked at Jack and Annie for a long moment. "Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you," she said. "Yes?" They both leaned forward. You are now magicians of everyday magic, said Morgan. You have learned to find the magic in things you encounter on Earth every day. There are many other forms of everyday magic. You never have to look far to find it. You only have to live your life to the fullest. Jack and Annie nodded. Soon you'll be called upon to use your knowledge of everyday magic in the realm of fantasy. The realm of fantasy? Asked Jack. Are we going to Camelot? Asked Annie. But before Morgan could answer, a shout came. Jack! Annie! Our dad's calling, said Annie. You must go home now, Morgan said gently. Rest and get ready to test your powers. Your most exciting challenges are yet to come. Goodbye, Morgan, said Annie and Jack. They hugged the enchantress, and then Jack took the Hawaii book out of his pack and gave it to Morgan. He put on his backpack and followed Annie down the ladder. When they stepped to the ground, there was a great roar above them. Jack and Annie looked up. A swirl of sparkling light lit the top of the tree. Then the light was gone. The treehouse was gone, too. Morgan Le Fay was gone. Jack and Annie didn't speak for a moment. Then Jack broke the silence. Our most exciting challenges are yet to come, he said. What do you think Morgan means by that? Dunno, said Annie. It sounds scary, said Jack. It's okay, we can handle it, said Annie. She smiled. We're magicians of everyday magic. Yeah, said Jack. I guess we are. They walked out of the woods as the sun was setting. Down the street, their mom and dad were standing on the front porch. They waved up at Jack and Annie. Jack felt a surge of happiness. There's another kind of everyday magic, he thought. The magic of family. In that moment, it seemed like the best magic of all. And that is the end of our story. So, we are officially done with 28 Magic Treehouse books. How crazy is that? Pretty crazy. I want you guys to try and take the AR test on it today. Remember, our AR goals for this 9 weeks aren't necessarily going to be set. It's just going to be how many points can you earn? What's your challenge for yourself? So go ahead and take the AR test on this. I will check and see how many of you took the test on last week's book, and then I'll give you a shout out on Google Classroom. I was about to say something else, and I don't remember what it was. Holy Swiss cheese brain, you know how it works. All right, well, if I think about it, I'll let you know. All right, time to do our thingy-majigger with the math, whatever. Okay, be right back. Okay, so let's go over yesterday's so you guys can see if you got your math problem right, and then we'll talk about today's. So yesterday it was some number of poetry books plus 30 nonfiction plus 35 fiction equals 85 books total. So the first thing we want to do is add our two numbers because we have our whole. This is our total that we're working towards. So we want to add these two up, 30 plus 35. So we get 30 plus 35 gives us 5 and 6, so 65. So we get blank plus 65 equals 85. Or 85, sorry. Woo, man. So then we want to subtract because we want to take our total and subtract our part to get our other part. So we get 85 minus 65. 5 minus 5 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. So 20 would be our answer. So 20 poetry books. All right, next one. Amy is building a birdhouse. She needs 3 pieces of wood that are 12 inches long. She finds a piece that is 32 inches. Does she have enough wood? So she needs 3 pieces that are 12 inches. So she needs piece 1, piece 2, piece 3, and each of these pieces are 12 inches. What she gets is a piece that is 32 inches long. So can she divide this into 3 12-inch pieces? It might be that she has some left over. It might be that she doesn't. But if she can't get 3 12-inch pieces, then it doesn't work. So you guys figure that out. Can she do it, yes or no? All right, guys, you have a wonderful, fantastic spring break. I will see you guys back here for the last part of April, and we'll resume with our Merlin missions. Yeah, just have a wonderful, fantastic spring break. Enjoy yourself, and I will see you guys not next week, but the week after. Online, obviously, not in person. But yeah, anyways. Okay, bye, guys.